Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the last match of the SpyParty Summer Cup. The moment you've been waiting for is here. It's the grand finals between OpiWrites and KrazyCaley. My name is Taboshi. I am joined by Warning Track once again.
Great to be here.
And man, oh man, this is going to be something. KrazyCaley has already won the Summer Cup twice. This is the 7th year we have been running the Summer Cup, so having won it twice is a pretty big accomplishment, even for someone as decorated as KrazyCaley. And if he wins it again today, he will be the only man to have won it 3 years.
Yeah, and not just that, it's a little more impressive than it sounds, too, because this is only the 4th time he's entered. The 3rd time he entered, I believe, or maybe it was the 2nd, failed to make it out of a very difficult group based on some very narrow margins. So 4th time he's entered, 3rd time in the finals, and the last 2 times he made it to the finals, he won. So he's going for 3 for 3 in the finals and 3 for 4 overall in 7 total years. Very impressive indeed.
But OpiWrites has been incredibly impressive in his own right, fighting to join a very exclusive club of the winners of the SpyParty Summer Cup. And because it's the finals, they're going to be going at it for quite a while. The match format is not for the faint of heart.
No, it's not. I guess let's just run through these real quick here. There's so many that I actually don't want to talk too much about each of them. Normally, when we started the group stages, Tobo, we would go through each venue and we would talk a little bit about each venue. But God, we don't have time for that anymore because there's too many venues because the matches keep getting longer. It's going to be Ballroom, Terrace, Verandah, Pub, Aquarium, and then high-rise Courtyard Library, so you can see the full spectrum of what SpyParty has to offer tonight.
Yep, and that is regulation time. 9 maps, first to 10 wins. If we're tied 9-9 at the end of all of that, we go to extra time, which is modern and gallery and balcony. And then if we're still tied, it's sudden death balcony to decide the outcome. So yeah, it's going to be a hell of a match, and it's not just bragging rights that are on the line. We have actual honest-to-goodness prizes, $100 to the first place finisher, $75 to the second, and there is an actual trophy.
An actual trophy with an actual name on it. I don't know if we're going to put the username or the real name on the trophy. I guess the champion gets to decide, don't they?
Yeah, I think that's probably the way to go.
That seems fair. But yes, the first physical trophy will be shipped somewhere. We know for sure it will be somewhere in the United States, but we don't know which coast it's going to be on.
Oh, man. It is going to be a ride. We're just now waiting for everyone to get set up. KrazyCaley is in the venue. I don't yet see OpiWrites in here, but I might just be blind.
Yep, they're just about ready to start. This has been, we should point out, by the way, for those who don't know, this is the largest field the Summer Cup has ever had. It's topped out around 32 a couple of times previously. But it was doubled this year to 64. And it's not just the number of spectators, not just the quantity, it's been the quality too. This is the most experienced and scary field we've ever had. And appropriately enough, both finalists are excellent players.
Yeah, it's been an incredible ride because not only have we been blessed with a lot of the old guard coming back for one last hurrah in this tournament, or maybe coming back to stay, but we've had a huge influx of people coming in around the Steam release as well that have gotten incredibly good, incredibly fast to make for just a really, really stacked tournament.
Yeah, a lot of brand new players, certainly. And they were very brave, actually. Some of them got thrown into the deep end with some of the most experienced players in the game because that's the way the Summer Cup works with those random group placements. And it didn't always go very well. You could see the results were a little lopsided sometimes, but they stuck it out. They got a lot of competitive experience, and it made for a lot of fun, interesting matches that we normally don't get to see in other competitive events like the SpyParty Competitive League, which is tiered and a little better sorted.
But the lobby is in, the games are underway. Ladies and gentlemen, the time is now. It's KrazyCaley opening up the festivities on the Spy side of Ballroom, any 4 of 8.
And General.
Opens things up as general as you were saying, with a quick 51% flirt at the windows by the blue bookcase. Pretty cramped to get in there, but at the time of chaos, you can get away with a lot, is now in an innocent conversation, a short ways off from the ambassador.
Yeah, those aggressive early flirts are one of Kaylee's hallmarks, but they're a little less obvious when they're not in conversation circles, too. Opie, however, does occasionally flirt pair. That could be the basis for some of these early low highlights you'll see, too. He will highlight for various things like that.
Getting a fingerprint off the drink, a great way to start it, and another fingerprint off the briefcase. Very early mission completion off of a mission that usually takes a very long time to pull off. This is big from KrazyCaley.
It is, but we've traded it for a highlight, and OpiWrites in particular, the highlights are not just informational like they might be for me or some other snipers. They are indicative of someone he wants to watch and is taking note of, and I know from experience that when Opie starts watching you, it's very hard to shake him.
Yeah, a very aggressive play. Oftentimes you can get away with that early fingerprint off the drink because drinks are not the easiest prints to track. But when you go for that briefcase right afterwards, you're putting a big target on your back.
Yeah, you absolutely are. And you had one already as someone who's great at walking bugs on a venue where you can get away with a lot of them too. So I definitely think he's one of the bigger suspects right now.
Fingerprints done, still 51% on the flirt. Not a whole lot of progress after that big fingerprint situation, but we are in conversation with the double agent, waiting for people to start filing and talking. No, Kaylee's just going to take it right away. It is a white test. That lets off, looked like 5 lowlights. Only 3 of them are taken.
Yeah, took the safe ones there and was very interested in that highlight, Cowboy, taking the drink right afterwards, expecting the standard banana bread distracting from purloin move, which is very common for Kaylee as well, common for any spy, really, because it's so effective, but does not happen here. Kaylee's trying to play the slow, clean game. By the way, on Ballroom, this is exactly what he did in the first game of the Season 4 Finals against Canadian Bacon. He played an un-Kaylee-like, slow, fingerprint Ballroom game for the spy win as Green Dress, and it set the tone, and then he went back to his normal style afterwards. We're seeing potentially a carbon copy of what he did in those finals in these finals.
KrazyCaley steps away for the last flirt, does hit it with a 2 green, 2 flirt finish, is now in the statues at the side for a pair of inspects. I almost thought he was going to swap that straight up, but may have very easily gotten him killed.
It'll be statue, almost definitely. Whoa!
There's the swap! He hits the green test on it!
Very surprising. I wonder if is that deliberate? It's at the end of the move there. Maybe he's thinking, if he suspects me for fingerprint, wouldn't I just inspect? Isn't that what I would normally do? Why would I swap here? Fake's gonna distract. Here comes the swap.
There's the swap has gone off. The shot happens. OpiWrites is absolutely on top of this and picks up game number 1.
There's actually a little bit of brilliance to that move because you're thinking, if he's on to me for the fingerprint, and I think he is, then he's going to expect me to finish inspects for the win and dare him to shoot. So the swap is just counterintuitive enough. I want him holding the bag, waiting for the inspects that never come when the swap goes off, and maybe I just benefit from the confusion, but no. You could see Opie had his suspects late in the game, watched it very closely, and even with Duke blocking the statue a little bit at the end, catches the swap and takes the shot.
KrazyCaley is the master of trying to distract from the last hardtail. Often he'll do it in much subtler ways by hanging out next to the ambassador or requesting a drink from Toby at an opportune moment. Didn't have any opportunities like that, so went for the fake contact. Was not enough to get Opie's eyes away from that statue for long enough. Opie up 1-0 and now on the spy side with a very slow start into a walking bug.
A walking bug into just a straight collision after the drink too, and it looked very awkward, and I have to think it's been suspected, but it probably doesn't look as bad from the sniper side as I think it did from the spy side. And look at Kaylee, by the way, zooming in on Teal, protecting the ambassador afterwards. That shows something less than certainty that the bug is already taken.
Yeah, I think this bug, probably not completely clean, but still pretty clean.
Well, Kaylee wants to take those certain shots, so if Opie looks like they're finishing apart from the bug, that's something, but will he shoot for it? Opie, I'll remind you, won the Ballroom weekend tournament, if I recall correctly. One of their favorite venues, along with Yeesh, one of the 2 best spies in any division in the last SEL season at Ballroom overall. So this, even though this doesn't seem like one of the venues you'd think Opie is going to make some hay on against this dominating sniper on Kaylee's side, to Opie, this is actually one of those opportunities.
Very unusual start from Opie as well, picking up the bug before anything. It's a minute in before he finally hits his first flirt for 51%, but it's looking pretty good for him so far.
That green certainly helps with that delay, yeah. And not going to get flirt paired here. Flirting at 2 minutes.
Absolutely not. The timer is starting to tick down, though. Other than that beautiful bug, it has been a relatively slow game. Into the timer flirt after that as well. Not able to hit the 2 flirt. That'll bring us to 85% on the flirt. The contact comes off after the fact as well, and Alice is nice enough to split for us.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. She's already got a highlight, too. It looks like 2 lowlights are available. Kaylee's going to wait in the aftermath to make sure he doesn't miss anything before taking those lowlights. Oh, and there's very little laser movement. This is significant, one way or the other.
Kaylee is very worried about something. The question is, what is he so worried about? Fake contact will get him a few extra lowlights to play with.
Wow, and interesting. So we're not in with an SDA. That lowlight's going to be significant. But Alice is in with an SDA as it happens. I'm not sure what the idea is there. Maybe just to distract a little bit and say, if they were playing a clean game with the bug, why would they do this? Same logic as Kaylee, actually, with the swap, maybe.
The flirt is now done. We're stepping into center statues. This is the inspect for the win right here, and Kaylee's not having it. The shot comes off. It's 1-1 coming out of Ballroom.
If I know Kaylee, I think there's a decent chance he took that shot cringing just a little bit if he wasn't sure of that bug, and the behavior after the bug certainly suggested something less than certainty, but I think mostly suspected. There was a collision, but it really didn't look like an AI collision. It did look like a spy collision, kind of going the wrong way when they hit the ambassador.
Yeah, it is. Kaylee makes it relatively easy to tell when he is certain of something, unlike a lot of players on the sniper side. That was not a certain Kaylee. OpiWrites almost got away with that game. But it's 1-1 as we step, into a cane side bug, walking to the back of Taeyen. That's one way to start a game.
But just like last time, Kaylee has early significant progress and a highlight. Opie knows he does this. This is part of the Taeyen script. And
not a great entry into conversation either.
No, and there's going to be some of those, certainly from AIs alike, too. Now, the main problem is, what if a few other people end up taking those sorts of highlights on Taeyen, and you just have to watch too many of them? But if the AIs don't do that too often, you're going to end up with, I think, another dead spy.
It is very likely KrazyCaley in conversation with the double agent who bails on us, but the seduction target steps in to take his place.
And the end of red.
Contact comes off on a fake. How does Opie react to this? So far, it looks like maybe he doesn't. A few highlights coming in on the front conversation.
It's the 4 people who could have a reel because the other SDA was at windows in the back.
So starting to gather suspicion around other people. KrazyCaley making that early highlight a little bit more bearable as he steps into center statues.
Yeah, that might help a little bit. Now you have to remember them a little bit. And there's another center statue visit. Yeah, certainly. And it certainly feels like he's just going to try to finish here. He's hoping that there's enough suspects. It's like what I was talking about earlier. He's got the highlight, but he needs more of them. Not even going to wait.
Wow!
He saw the bug. It's that simple. And at that point, it's like, I don't want to take any more risks. And maybe, early in this set, I want to send a message.
Yeah. Yeah, if you've seen the bug, may as well.
Yeah, you may as well, and there's some value to it, too, to say, I know what you like to do. I was waiting for it, I saw it, and I'm going to shoot a little early.
OpiWrites trading sniper wins back and forth with KrazyCaley, but this is the sort of game plan KrazyCaley is comfortable with. It's the game plan he's used for many a year before his spy started getting as scary as it is as well. OpiWrites opening things up with a quick 29% on the flirt and in conversation with the double agent.
And we talk all the time about Taeyen and how it can look like the spy is idling, it look like they're behind, but the mission density is outrageous. It's even higher than Ballroom. You can get so many missions done so quick, even without much party help. And if you get a little party help, like the Ambo walking by you, which might be about to happen, No, they do not.
Well, it did indeed happen, but not quite close enough for Opie to pull the trigger.
So to speak.
Fake contact coming off from the back conversation. Front conversation had the real double agent, and the suspected double agent was out.
I think that might be deliberate. Kaylee has on Tan to compensate for the occlusion, assumed real on banana breads very often to try to whittle the party down and make it easier because he knows straight camping is not going to work most of the time. Has not done it this time, though.
Back in the conversation with the seduction target. Second flirt comes off. Another white test brings us up to 61%. It's not enough for a 3 flirt unless we hit a green.
Yep, still plenty of time, though. And honestly, most of the time when you're going to win against Kaylee on Tan, it's going to be because an AI could complete.
No mission completions yet for OpiWrites. Still a minute and 35 to play, so it's not danger time yet, but the contact does indeed come off to start those check marks rolling.
Gonna knock out 3 people, including a highlight in green dress.
Now stepping over to the blue bookcase.
Yeah, and Opie, not much mission progress as you said. However, I guarantee he has a really good sense of who's been to statues, who might have some prints, who might be frameable this game.
Not nearly enough cover to go for any microphone shenanigans there. OpiWrites steps back into the rear conversation. There's nothing for him to do here. It's just biding time and looking inconspicuous. The purloin comes off from the back. It's a green test as well.
Oh, you hope it goes to Walt here. Is he gonna take? Is he gonna take behind the shoji? Failed bug. Walt, a highlight's gonna take. Gonna take. The fade is not visible at all. The fade is not visible. Trying to get a look at it now.
How does Kaylee feel about this? You start to see some lowlights coming off. There's a very ugly bug coming in the back, but there was so much cover. I don't know if Kaylee was able to see it.
Green test. You need the green test right here.
Down to 3.
It's a white. Get shot anyway.
The shot comes off anyways. KrazyCaley. I don't know how he pulls that off. Maybe he saw some of the bug in the back. Maybe he got a better look at that purloin than we thought he did. But man, oh man, Kaylee on top of things.
That was exactly what Opie needed to do, and it didn't quite work. I think that was a tremendous spy game and a tremendous sniper game just colliding. And when the dust settles, Kaylee gets the win.
Kaylee is constantly able to see these tiny little things and credit mission completions for things that he barely even can catch a glimpse of.
Well, it's entirely possible that would have worked, except that you saw that weird kind of crash bug path at the end. If he caught a little bit of that and knew it was down to 2, that might have been enough. It's entirely possible that if we sell out on the frame, rather than trying to also finish at the same time, that might have done it. So it's entirely possible that Kaylee was going to take that bait, but just saw that crash there again at the end, and it gave him pause.
51% on the first flirt for KrazyCaley as he steps into Terrace. Both inspect and swap are off, so he was unable to get anything from that statue other than the flirt, but it's an inconspicuous place to be anyways. As he steps back into conversation next to the twin, gets highlit, and the twin gets lowlit. That is as clear a flirt pairing as you will ever see. Goes for the bug with a man in between, but Opie is on top of things. It's 3-2.
Has trouble resisting those bugs at windows, just trying to look inconspicuous, or as inconspicuous as you can look in a giant lavender jumpsuit and hat, but it doesn't work that well. By the way, might have been flirt pairing, might have been for the awkward entry, might have been for the short window stay. Those are all things that Opie knows to look for tonight.
OpiWrites stepping in to the spy side now, flirting out windows from a bit of a distance. It's 45%.
Yep, and that's just fine. You get at least the 34 on that first flirt, you're going to be just fine. And the cooldown expired already.
Back into conversation with the seduction target for a second one.
And statues are off, but prints are on, and there's a print on that statue now. There's a fake, by the way. Wow.
Yeah, indeed. Lots and lots of fake contacts coming off this match. The second flirt brings us up to 79% as well, so pretty good progress early on in Terrace.
Yeah, but a rough start there too, because I think the actual double agent, and I'll remind the viewers that on Terrace the sniper knows who the double agent is, I think might have been just entering when that happened. So from Kaylee's perspective, nobody has a reel, I think.
Could very well be.
It's going to make it easy to hold that shot if nobody finishes.
Yeah, certainly not what OpiWrites is looking for. Picking up the last flirt for one mission complete, 2 minutes and 5 seconds left to play, and the double agent steps in to say hi.
A little bit of a collision by the ambassador with Seek, but no, KrazyCaley says that's an AI thing, and there's a banana bread, and that one's real. It's going to let off more low lights, and there's a bug in the aftermath!
Off on the way across! Did Caley see it? He did indeed! Snipers trading games back and forth. It's 3-all.
The decision is very good, but when you look there, the bug took too early. If he does a nice, clean bug, the kind that you would have to suspect but not credit on Terrace normally, in the aftermath of those lowlights, I think that had a really good chance of working. It just happened a little too early. I think that's great decision-making, great game planning, but the mechanics cost him.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was... It looked like the kind of thing that would work against most snipers, but didn't quite work out against the best sniper in the game.
Yeah, going for a wrong arm, and in this case, the wrong arm was the right arm.
Oh, hello! That was not very pretty, but no reaction from Opie.
I don't think he's onto this one. The laser reaction does not suggest he's onto this one, but here's the thing. Of all the venues you want to miss that early Kaylee rush bug on, ooh, that's a leave during an idle. That is an etiquette break, people. But if you're going to miss that bug from Kaylee on one of these venues, Veranda's the one to do it on, because he needs 4 more missions.
That is very true. KrazyCaley with an early bug and an early lead. He puts himself in a good position, but by no means a commanding one as of yet, as he steps in for his first flirt for 51%.
If Kaylee wins this spy game and Opie sees that replay, he's going to be kicking himself for missing that idle break. That is just a very sloppy move. And it has to be said that as well as Kaylee has played, his last few matches have been subpar for him on the spy. He's a pretty good spy in general, although we know he makes his hay on the sniper side. But he would tell you, and has said publicly, that he's a little disappointed with his spy play these last few matches. And we're seeing a little of that same, I don't want to say rust exactly because he's playing a lot, but a lot of that same messiness tonight so far.
In conversation with the double agent, picking up the contact. 3 lowlights so far come off of that. Pretty good for Veranda. Back into conversation once more for the second flirt.
Yeah, this is actually getting significant, because if he can get to that 4th mission without a lot of suspects and having only knocked out these 3 people, then he just needs to get away with one tricky little mission at the end. And Opie's going to have to watch so many people that a well-timed purloiner swap when the attention is divided is much more likely to work.
The longer KrazyCaley stays neutral lit, the better this looks for him. 85% on the flirt, and we step into the front statues to pick up our first pair of inspects with still 2 minutes and 15 on the clock. We've got the 2 missions completions, those being bug and contact. Not again trying to get into that conversation and having problems with it, so not able to get the 3rd flirt as of yet.
And here's the real cost of that mission. It's not that you missed the bug. It's that Opie, if you look at the sniper side, is guarding that ambassador like a hawk. He is following him around all over the place, selling out, devoting so much attention to a mission that has already happened, which does indeed, I think, come close to confirming that the bug was not suspected and that we're expending precious, precious mental resources watching a mission that has already taken place.
Usually guarding bugs very closely is a great move against KrazyCaley because he does love his bugs and he is good at them. But if you miss it, this is the price you pay. KrazyCaley now stepping into statues to finish the inspects.
And the swap almost certainly. And here's the thing, with this much time left...
Here's the swap, he rotates all the way around to see it! Nobody goes to this
You gotta decide right now!
OpiWrites knows that Caley loves to finish off like this. Nobody but Opie would rotate all the way around to get a good look at that statue with 2 minutes left in the game. And that was an incredible play.
Yeah, only someone who studied Kaylee would devote those kind of resources, as I said, those precious mental resources to that shot. And you can tell they're taking their time here. Looking at that replay, Opie wants to know what he missed. How did I miss that bug? How did I miss that idle break? And the reason, and you notice though, he did not shoot right away. There was a hesitation. He's making sure, was someone here before? Because I just don't think Seek is done, and they wouldn't do this unless they were finishing. And that was the hesitation you saw. That was the confidence of, I didn't miss bug, even though they did. That's what caused that hesitation.
Man, that looked like KrazyCaley's game, but Opie somehow manages to find a way back into that. Keep it SpyParty, keep it back and forth, and is now on the spy side of Verandah as Smallman.
You think we're gonna get up to a little trouble, Tobo?
Oh, almost certainly.
You don't think we're gonna
always get into trouble.
You don't think we're gonna aggressively idle off screen?
Well, it's a slow start to be sure, but the book cheese with the cover of the conversation.
I mean, we were not really visible, but we were seen afterwards holding a book that I'm pretty sure Kaylee did not actually see taken from a shelf, and that's reason enough sometimes.
Oh my, that could have been a problem.
This isn't gonna work. There's no way. Nope.
Yeah, I feel like Kaylee's onto this. He is indeed.
I mean, it's a valiant effort, but, here's the thing. A good sniper knows their weak points. They know what they can and can't catch. And on Verandah, you can't reliably catch every quick little book grab if they want to do it, especially from that character or a couple of others. So when you see a book and you didn't know where it came from, you're willing to be that much more suspicious, especially with that character. That's the case here, I think.
Absolutely. And it has been sniper games all the way down so far. Kaylee has made a really good run at one of these. And Opie's made a really good run at another one.
Yeah.
It's been a very tight race so far, but going into pub, it's 4-4.
Yeah, that Tan game, I think, was particularly good. The Ballroom one might have been okay. We're not sure how confident Kaylee was about that bug. It might have been a very tough shot for him. Maybe not very. Hard to say. The main thing for that book, by the way, Kaylee doesn't need to see the spy at green bookshelves. He just has to know he wasn't at red. And I think that's ultimately what gave him the confidence to take that shot early in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
It's a process of elimination. Pretty simple. And pub, the mission setup here could be very instructive. At the moment, it looks like Kaylee's going to have fingerprint and swap off. Swap pretty standard. Fingerprint a little less so. But I think it makes sense. Kaylee's saying, you know what? A lot of good snipers can catch bug on pub, myself included. But I think there's a decent chance Opie either might not or will really get penalized by having to pay a lot of attention to it. We saw the kind of resources he was dedicating to it on that Verandah game.
Yeah, absolutely. But on pub 3 of 5, there's a lot less vying for those resources.
Well, the mission setup is getting messed around with a little bit here still. They're definitely taking their time with this one. And it ends up right back where it started.
Yeah, I think quite possibly KrazyCaley just wants a moment to breathe, but we are getting into the next game. KrazyCaley on the spy side once more. OpiWrites on the sniper. We are tied at 4.
And even though you wouldn't normally want a bug on pub, it's the kind of thing Kaylee's just going to do. The bugs will happen. There will be attempts. Eventually one of them will get through. That's usually how it works. And Kaylee, you can see, a little more respect here, flirt-wise, than we've seen in the previous games or previous seasons or anything else.
Opens up in as inconspicuous a place as he can, and only after a talk cycle steps in for his first flirt for 51%. And he gets highlight for it.
Yeah, and I think we might have left a little early on that conversation, too. I think we're seeing potentially more etiquette breaks here.
Yeah, that has been KrazyCaley's big weak point in the last few matches. He has not been on top of his etiquette on the spy side.
It's never been a strong suit, but yeah, it's been rougher than usual the last few matches, and it's maybe one of the reasons that all 3 of those matches basically came down to the final map, tied or nearly tied. It's the Summer Cup. The matches have been hot. Kaylee's had to sweat, and today it's coming to a boil.
Into bar once more for another flirt. It's up to 85%. Not able to hit the second green test. Picks up a delegate, and away we go.
And we're still idling. We're not going to go rush that flirt. There are a few too many highlights here for Opie, I think. Kaylee elects not to sip at the end of the idle. Again, AIs don't have to. They just usually do.
There's the last flirt getting finished up from a big old distance. KrazyCaley knows he doesn't need to get close and doesn't want to either because Opie is a man who will catch you on flirts.
Yep, and on pub, there really aren't that many other things to watch sometimes, so it matters all the more.
Contact comes off, but the double agent stepped away at a very inopportune moment.
Yeah, 5 people could have a reel, and we're the only non-low light who couldn't, I think, at this point.
Yeah, I think you're right. But if we go pick up another contact, it could be pretty clear what happened, but he knows it goes for another fake. Lets off a big low light, but I think this is Kaylee committing to not finishing missions and trying to get someone else shot. This is a frame job now.
Yeah, it is, but I don't think it's working. OpiWrites is getting some really good lowlights and has narrowed this party down without a lot of meaningful information, actually. This is really good. The pub homework, I think, has paid off.
It certainly seems that way. KrazyCaley, I think, knew that as soon as...
There's a bug.
Oh my god, but Opie has seen it! Opie on top of things, like, I think Kaylee played that as well as he reasonably could have, but Opie just locking it down.
I mean, there's just no comeback for that kind of sniping when done well. The only way to beat it is to become one of those lowlights, is to emulate some of it, and Kaylee just didn't show a lot of interest in doing that, and generally hasn't, so that's just the way it goes. It's actually a pretty good bug. I think it caught us both a little bit by surprise. There was a real lull in that game after that second banana bread, and then Kaylee decides, well, I guess he's not going to shoot anyone, so I got to finish missions. And Opie just waits him out. If you're Kaylee, the real significant thing is looking at that replay and thinking, why was that so narrowed down, and how do I fight against that going forward?
And now, as has been the pattern for this match so far, KrazyCaley is down by 1 going into his sniper game. They have been trading back and forth all night long, waiting to see who can break the other's sniper. And so far, it hasn't happened.
No, it hasn't yet, and this is something I say every time we cast Kaylee on pub. Think about turning bug off. Because he's going to catch it almost always, and it's not the kind of venue where he's going to have to expend much to watch it, because even if he sells out watching bug, he's still going to be able to track things like fingerprints. There's not a lot of memory committed to this. So turn bug off, maximize your other chances. That's what's happened here. No bug, no swap. We are going to get from Kaylee. Oh, Kaylee trying to flirt pair. Oh boy.
I think we're seeing character development here, Track.
We're seeing character development, or let's just say it's easier to hack accounts than we previously thought. I don't know. I think dubious value here because we threw out 5 highlights almost immediately. Some of them got bounced back down. In fact, it looks like almost all of them. They're flying up and down here. I would not try to interpret these. I think nascent behavioralism lights will drive you mad.
Either way, 34% off of the first flirt, and I believe a delegate is what we got out of that bar trip, and no highlight yet. Well, anymore.
Yeah, none anymore, but probably still remembers it was there, and yeah, they're going to get bumped back up. It's going to say, hey, some of these people were together before, amusingly enough, not with the actual seduction target, so we might be flirt paired with no one in particular.
This could be pretty hilarious. In conversation with the double agent now. Lots of people starting to filter out of the pub and into conversations. This is a great time for it. Boots at statues, but other than that, everyone in.
I think flirt pairing people who don't know you're doing it is called shipping. That's what we should call that now.
Oh my god, I love it.
He's shipping these characters, which means he's flirt pairing them with the wrong people, and they have no idea.
I really like the decision to wait for Boots to get into conversation before taking this contact.
Yeah, and he's probably hoping that ambassador conversation has some more has an SDA in it, but it doesn't. Hair coming back in. How can you resist it now? It's gonna flirt first, though. Gonna get the flirt done first, and we're gonna get bumped back up for it just for kind of talking there. Maybe with hair. I'm not sure. Kaylee playing this a little atypically, at least light-wise. But here's the thing. When you have this kind of memory, and you can memorize fingerprints and statues very easily and real BBs, you can afford to use the highlights for weird stuff.
This has not been a fast game from OpiWrites. It's minute and 15 left to play, and all we have are 2 flirts. No other progress. No fingerprint, no inspect, nothing.
Yep. But Opie is going to be watching very carefully to see who could finish here, and if Hare gets into this conversation with one of these SDAs. She does... Red Dress does the worst thing possible.
We just bounce incredibly.
Yeah, well, there's that too, but then the fake and immediate talk.
Ooh.
And I think Caley can hold this because of the bouncing and the fact that it's such a bad banana bread. It looks so much like a frame job. It looks so much like a frame job.
I think you're probably right.
And Caley, camera shake. He doesn't like this, but it doesn't make sense to him. It just seems too AI-like, and I think one more talk might do it. Buns gets bumped down and then up and then down again. You can see and up again. Caley is not sure what he wants to do with these characters right now.
I would not be surprised to see Caley hold this shot.
Yeah, and I would not BB again. I don't think that's the way to go. You want them to talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, he's looking at Buns. He doesn't like this talk at all. Doesn't like this talk. Doesn't like it.
Across the CC. Does he take the shot?
It happened right around 10 seconds.
He holds the shot.
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, we are still tied.
I'm not sure when that talk happened. It was right around 10. I think it might have just been early enough that he was confident enough to wait for overtime. Otherwise, late enough rather, I think that might have been it. But, oh goodness, that felt so close.
It really did. Caley felt a little bit lost that game, but he just never got sure enough of anybody in that party to take the shot, and now we step in to Aquarium. Caley on the spy side, and he loves situations where he can get into shenanigans.
Yeah, it does. It fits his aggressive spy style, to say the least, and OpiWrites is really annoyed already, I think, at one of the twins for possible bugs, and you just can't guard bugs effectively here. You need to look at other things, because bugs are going to get by you if the spy is careful.
When the ambassador goes behind the shark.
When the ambassador goes behind the shark, absolutely.
Look at this. Look at this. The ambassador is just is begging for it.
Twice already in the first 30 seconds of this game, the shark has gone right over the ambassador, and Opie hates it. This is exactly what they wanted to avoid.
Caley with a delegate in pocket, first flirt for 34%. Opens the game at bar unusually, actually leaves that conversation at the exact same time as the seduction target, which was somewhat amusing.
Yep. We delegated to the seduction target just now, and there's a long line at bar, so it'll be interesting to see how long until this goes off. I don't know if it'll take. This is going to be close at best.
Yeah, it's a long shot, but we shall see.
Not only were we behind Shark when we delegated, but the Amba was vulnerable. So Opie was watching it a lot. There's a bug right out front!
What? Huh?
That is not a good decision. This is where the impulsiveness gets you into trouble. Where it's just see mission, do mission.
Did Caley think that was bottom shark? I think Caley thought that was bottom shark.
It seems like too big an error. I think it's more like betting that the sniper's eyes are going to be elsewhere because I've delegated to a full bar and they're going to be watching for the list take. Something like that, I think, is a better bet because we saw that in last week's match, trying to do the obvious microfilm against Lazy Bear on Modern, specifically trying to time it to when someone was walking by the ambassador. It's an admirable choice, but when it doesn't work, it's just instant death.
I don't know, that didn't feel good. Usually, this is a venue where you can get bugs off. You don't want to be taking big risks on a mission that you usually should be able to get done.
And that's a really big win for OP because on Aquarium, even if you do get your spy win, you're going to give it right back very, very often because, as we say often, Caley's a pretty good spy and Aquarium's a pretty good fit for him. So that's actually a pretty big one here. And this is a pretty good banana bread, too.
It's a fast start from OpiWrites. The contact is already off. We already have 2 flirts up to 71%. Only a trio of lowlights off of the contact as well.
this position could be an investment, thinking if the ambassador doesn't leave for about 20 more seconds, that shark's going to come by, and I'm going to get a free crash bug.
This could be pretty huge.
And it looks way less suspicious because we were there uncovered for a really long time. We really paid a price for the bug. We didn't just run over to the shark when it came over. We didn't just hang out in the middle of conversation. We absolutely waited, but we got to wait a little bit longer.
Oh, he's nudging towards... twitching over! That's not how you do that! A little bit early, and Caley is absolutely on top of it.
Yeah, and that was actually pretty obvious, I think. That was a really unfortunate decision, too, because, again, Aquarium is like Tan in the sense that you might not have to do anything. There's a really good chance an AI is going to get shot, finish, whatever in the sniper's mind. Even against Caley, it's not a high percentage play, but it's a higher percentage play than most other venues. So I think, as a result, because of that, you really don't want to be taking high-risk, high-reward plays like that, like you would on Courtyard or Ballroom or Moderne, or something where your likelihood of winning was that much lower to begin with. In this case, your baseline likelihood of winning that spy game was much higher, and the spy's decisions did not reflect that risk reward properly.
6 venues have come and gone, and we have not yet seen a single win on the spy side. Not necessarily because the spies have been playing badly, but because the snipers have been on top of absolutely everything.
I would say there's
now step into high rise 3 of 5 with no transfer, no swap, and no purloin.
Yeah, pretty standard on high rise. I would say there were only 2 spy games, one from each player, where I felt like I kind of really genuinely expected them to win. But the spy play in a lot of the other games has been a little rough on both sides.
KrazyCaley opening slowly, hanging out at the front windows, nice and out of the way, nice and inconspicuous. No progress yet.
Question is, can Caley... Oh, there's a flirt pair. There's another flirt highlight. Opie is just nailing him on these.
And the end of red.
And they're huge on the 3-5s. Huge.
Oh my!
I think we've got an etiquette break there.
I think so.
I didn't quite catch the end of it, but that is such a quick, confident shot. Oh, boy, that is a fear of God shot. Wow.
Okay.
That is a statement shot. That is, I know what you're up to. I know what you don't do well, and I know you're not doing it. And someone's got to punish. Someone's got to pay for this. This will not stand.
KrazyCaley, was the Dowsey match not enough?
No. And again, that's really big because this is another chance at a spy win where you could also give it back on the other side. But Opie is running out of these particularly good venues. He's played a couple of really good games on some of them that haven't worked, played some sloppy games on others. That hasn't worked either. This could be one of his last remaining chances to avoid SpyParty for Infinite Balcony. And how long can you withstand the onslaught of Caley's aggressive spy? Eventually, something breaks through. You need a spy win.
And this is a huge chance for OpiWrites. We know this is not a venue that Caley is particularly fond of.
No, it's not. Bans it almost every time. And the one time he didn't ban it in the last season, he said immediately after the match that not banning it was his biggest strategic mistake of the year. So he's not going to try to hide it anymore. High Rise is the ban. He doesn't want it. But it's Summer Cup. It's not SCL. You got to play it. The question is, can Opie cash it in?
Slow start from OpiWrites. I would not be surprised to see him idle out this whole game and just go for a frame on somebody. Dare KrazyCaley to take that shot.
It would be tough for someone to finish and Caley not to shoot unless they give him a lot of really good, confusing kind of reasons like at the end of that pub game. Unless it really doesn't feel like a spy finishing. He might think better of it then, but most of the time, the overwhelming majority of the time, when someone finishes, they get shot.
2 minutes and 15 seconds to play. Opie hasn't done a thing.
And it's very common when you try to frame or something on a 3-5 like pub. Oh wow, Caley's actually taking pathing. Caley's actually taking pathing low lights.
Very pleased with that low light.
Yes, because it was his top suspect, and then he was able to low light him. Here comes the fake, and there's so many low lights. 3 non-low lights could have a real banana bread, I think, and we are one of them.
This is very true.
There's a little something going on here. It's very common when someone tries a frame on like a 3-5 or whatever, if it doesn't work at all, it's very hard for them to commit to it a second time. They almost always want to do missions the second time. Committing to it again is kind of bold.
But man, I don't think I've ever seen Caley do this before, and it's working out brilliantly right now.
Well, it's working out brilliantly in part because he actually didn't have that many suspects to begin with. Look at this. Nobody's going to statues. Nobody's getting prints. Is the ambassador even touching things? Basically nothing. It turns out this might be one of the worst games Opie could have chosen to hope an AI finishes. That is unfortunate.
Well, here's one print for Twin at least. Nope, he rejects it. Never mind.
Never mind. Nope, we're not going to catch any breaks here. And yeah, we're going to get low lit. Not literally, but you can see the lights flashing. He's done this occasionally in competitive play. If there's a fingerprint on a drink and they reject it, he says no spy would do that. Some spies do, of course. I was one of them once. But he's right. It's a very AI thing to not care about fingerprints.
First flirt.
Twin!
Second flirt
that was a bug path, and now we're talking during the BB. Kaylee's thinking about this.
And that's an actual bug coming off. OpiWrites actually hits it.
And as far as Kaylee's concerned, that person has a real BB and a bug. Would there be any reason not to shoot? But the laser is really watching him. I think worried about the bug. I think you can actually finish here, but the flirt it's not going to take. You're going to have to aggressively flirt. Another fake.
Another fake contact. This time, I don't think Twin's in.
I think he got away with the bug and is going to lose the game anyway.
I think so. 8 seconds. There's nothing for Opie to play for here. Even if he hits the flirt, what do you do?
I don't understand the bug into the fake. That's what I don't get. I think that bug got away. Nothing about that makes any sense otherwise. Again, we were one of a few people who had a real BB from Kaylee's perspective. Is he really confident that the flirt isn't done when he doesn't shoot for that bug? I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Opie got a bug by Caley on high rise and still lost.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. I think that bug came off completely clean, but there wasn't enough progress to make it happen. We are still heckin' tied.
If you had more flirt progress, if you'd at least gotten the flirt progress, there are ways to finish there, and I think it works. I think not even trying to finish the flirt is what cost us that game, but the reason we got away with the bug is because Twin took a bug path, entered a conversation, and then talked during a fake right after that. And Caley thought he had to think very, very hard about whether or not he wanted to take that shot, and that's about the time the bug happened when Caley moved the sniper camera and zoomed back out. Everything about that worked, except that flirt, that on high rise that we say is so easy to get if you just make a little bit of steady progress. We say that every high rise game, right? There's a slow flirt start and we say plenty of time. But this time, it didn't quite happen. And I think that cost them the game, and it might cost them the cup.
OpiWrites went a little bit too all in on the frame. You can afford to give yourself options on that map, and OpiWrites didn't, and now there's 2 venues left. It's going to be Courtyard and then Library.
Courtyard and then Library. This is a better option than that one, but that was not just your best chance to win because it was high rise. That was your best chance to win because I'm pretty sure you got away with the hardtail too. It was your best chance in every sense, and now the pressure is on. You cannot afford to give up one of these spy games. It would be devastating.
That could have been so huge. KrazyCaley with the early 51% flirt at window into contact into another flirt for 85% now. 3 lowlights on the contact. This is looking good so far, and it's looking fast.
We're going to leave in the middle of the talk. This already feels like a rush, and I think if he'd hit that green on the flirt, it would have been green purloin into statues. That's what I think.
I think you're right. I think Caley might have been caught on the leave of the conversation, but it also may have just been a rote statue highlight. Either way, inspects are done, contacts is done. We're about to finish up our flirt right here, and we have a fingerprint. And we have 2 minutes to play.
The question is, did he catch the print? It does feel like he might be on to Caley for that leave, though.
3 missions done. The flirt has happened. All we need is 1 more print or a hardtail, and this is done and dusted.
Yeah, but that second print, A lot scarier than the first. It's pretty easy to get one print without getting shot, isn't it?
It certainly is.
The second print is more than twice as dangerous as the first.
I don't think we can afford to go to statues for it. Maybe if it hangs around for a long time, we can make it happen.
It's hard to
Maybe
say.
if it has to be a difficult, we can make it happen. Still 1 minute and 15 seconds to play, so there is time to figure out what to do here.
How long is he going to let this cook? That's the question. It's not a rush anymore. There's a minute left. You're not daring him to shoot early.
He might be able to get a drink print, but Toby's going the wrong way around the conversation, and Amba's not hanging around for it.
It's mostly going to be about splitting the attention. There he goes. He's going in for that fingerprint statue.
This is the print. 1 minute to play.
Got to take this shot. It's
Does
a tough
Opie
one.
know?
He's shaking. He's shaking.
He's thinking. He's gonna take the shot. We're still snipers all the way down.
Shake, shake, shoot. He did not like it. He wasn't sure. It could be bad luck, but come on. That was actually pretty aggressive. It was only about 20 seconds after the print. Oh, what a shot. It was obviously a tough one, but you needed to do it. The question is, can you flip this? If you get a spy win here, you go from being still an underdog to a huge favorite going into library.
Absolutely. If you can give yourself any room to work going into library, it will be a great thing. OpiWrites with a big chance here on the spy side to break the back of KrazyCaley.
Break the back, crack the crown. That's what we're trying to do tonight. It ain't easy. That's how he came to wear it.
First flirt for 34%.
Well, you can be forgiven for thinking that because Opie's been hitting a lot of greens tonight.
He has been. It's very true. This match is definitely starting to run out of time. 3 games left in regulation. 7-8 Opie's favors the current score, and it looks like we're in for a timer flirt.
And we are, with that win from Opie, by the way, we are guaranteed, again, that for the 4th consecutive match, Kaylee's match is going to come down to the wire again. This has been absolutely brutal down the stretch. Every match has been tough and razor thin.
Kaylee has had a lot of very powerful opponents, and it's been showing. People have been pushing Kaylee to the limit all the way through this bracket. Seduction target is not making this easy. We have to chase in for our next flirt. We are now also in conversation with the double agent, and the flirt comes off on a green test for 85%.
And steady progress here. We're just going to try, this is going to be all about timing the hard tell. Just maximizing it. Maybe trying to get into a reject chain with another suspect, but we only have a couple of statue visitors. That's really significant. If we can get 1 or 2 more, hang out near them, get into a reject chain, force a really difficult 50-50, that's probably our best bet here.
We had to take that contact. There's 1 minute and 30 left. We haven't been to statues. We haven't finished our flirt. The fact that we don't take that contact could mean huge time pressure coming down the stretch.
Yeah, and I think what Opie needs to be learning here is that even if you're selling out on the frame, make it so that it's down to the framee and you. Make it so that if you're in that green reject chain or whatever it is you want to do, one of you is going to finish as the shot has to come off, because we've seen all in on these frames and then timeouts.
Well, the flirt is finally done, but we're under 1 minute and haven't been to statues yet. We just have the 1 mission completion. Oh, I thought he was going to go for Desperation Bug, but KrazyCaley was in the perfect spot to guard it. Now we're in a conversation that we don't care to be in. It's going to be a white test on the purloin. Fade is plain as day. Kaylee hits those 100% of the time, and we are tied at 8.
Right in the ruby slippers. And you didn't think you had very good chances of winning on Courtyard, but that certainly didn't help. I think that the hope was to get a green there, but you were all by yourself. So I don't think there was a lot of upside, even if you hit the green, and even if you sort of get away with it. I think the decision to frame or try to get an AI shot, I think that's good game planning. But again, I'm not seeing the execution, that you want to see there. There are better ways to do the same thing you want to do.
Last venue of regulation. This could be Kaylee's last spy game of the tournament. Stepping in to the first flirt for 34%. Here we go. It's down to the wire. Now stepping into conversation with the double agent. Oh, goes for a very early green purloin. The white contact to try to distract as well, but Cowboy doesn't take it. The purloin chain is on, and Toby is stepping away.
Toby stepping away is huge. The reject is huge. This could not have gone better. We're going to statues, and this is just transformed into a rush.
There's the take. There's the take. Opie is on top of it. Toby knows exactly what is happening. One game to go in regulation, and Opie has guaranteed extra time at the very least, but he could also win it right here, right now.
I am stunned by that shot. The confidence saying this looks like a Caley rush with all the bad luck on that purloin, the second reject, the leave conversation, and he barely even hesitated. He was expecting that, it seems like, and you're right. Oh my goodness. Spy game for the whole cup, and if he loses it, he's got extra time to fall back on.
Oh man, I cannot believe he took that shot as fast as he did with rejectors in the chain, but he must have seen something we didn't, because he knew exactly where that bullet was going. I think that shot is going to rattle Caley at least a little bit, especially so late into the game, but this is Library, and Caley's on Sniper. This is his wheelhouse.
Yeah, historically in SCL, over a pretty large sample size, he's 92% on Library. You don't want to say you're already thinking about extra time, but you could be forgiven for doing exactly that. There have been some very high-profile spy wins against KrazyCaley on Library competitively. It usually involves a late swap, a missed fingerprint and a bug, things like that. Not usually a purloin. Doesn't usually involve a time ad either, I'll point out. It's just going to have to be steady progress. Opie has had a lot of trouble on Library as Spy too, so this is a very big mismatch. This is a real long shot, but it's a free roll. Try something. If it works, you're the champion. If it doesn't, you get another shot.
You could say we're thinking about extra time already, but these two players certainly are not. KrazyCaley needs this win on the Sniper side to stay alive and force extra time. OpiWrites with a chance to put the entire match to bed. And here we go. OpiWrites with what could be the final game of the Summer Cup, stepping into the spy side of Library against the Sniper of KrazyCaley.
And you mentioned Caley might be rattled by that shot. That's two shots that have the potential to rattle him. Two big, as I said earlier, statement shots from Opie. I know what you're doing. I'm not going to let you get away with this. The problem is you're not getting away with anything as Spy either.
Stepping in for the first flirt now, right next to the seduction target. It is going to be a green test for 51% and an immediate step away. The bug coming across the statues. Caley was elsewhere when it came off. That's a bug done.
The question is, did he see anything in the aftermath of the path? If you want to get a bug buy on Library and you time it well, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. But I really think, at this case at least, he's not a big suspect for it. But it's Library. You need 4 more missions, which means you need to get another tough mission like Fingerprint or another Hardtail done, and you need to do it without being stared down by becoming a suspect for all the other Softails you gotta do. And that's one of them right away.
Another green test, 2 flirts, and the flirt is done. We've got Bug and Seduce in the bank now. 3 more missions needed.
Can he really shoot for really good fingerprints and center statues? Can he do that? If Opie plays a clean game, and it's not that easy to play a really clean game on Library consistently, but if he does, can Caley take that shot knowing that if he's wrong, and it's just a weird AI, that he has lost the tournament, the first finals he's ever lost competitively.
First fingerprint has been taken by OpiWrites at the yellow bookcase. No microfilm shenanigans coming off of it either. Okay, we got some bouncing off of the ambassador. It wasn't bad, but as we step into center statues, we do pick up a highlight nonetheless. This should be all 3 inspects and the 3rd mission completed.
And that's significant, but it's not the big test yet. As I mentioned earlier, contact a big test, second print a big test. Here's the thing. If Caley is confident that wasn't a bug, it helps your case. Because you collided awkwardly with the ambo without bugging after you've already bugged. Really don't think that bug is suspected at all right now. At least not the first one.
Yeah, I think you're right. Caley should not have Rocker in for a suspected. Goes for the second print, and Caley immediately takes the shot. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in extra time.
That's very frustrating. I think that was an excellent game from Opie until that last decision there. He tried to time it with the book right then. He even waited. I think you need to be way more cautious on that second print. Way more cautious. You got to behave like you got away with the bug, and you have to make that second print really easy to miss. Maybe distract with a BB, a fake, whatever. Let it cook. Take a chance. Go for a difficult something. That was a really aggressive second print. And up until that point, I actually started thinking in my head, oh my God, he might do this. And I think he had a legitimate chance, but that second print was so aggressive.
Yeah, it really was. And now it's extra time. 3 venues of extra time, starting on Modern, then Gallery, then Balcony, is where this is going to lie. KrazyCaley opening up the festivities on the spy side of Modern. And immediately takes a delegate from the bar.
And just like I said, hard not to think ahead to extra time when we were on Courtyard and Library. Hard not to think ahead to Balcony when we're on Modern and Gallery. Gallery, though, is a bit of a risk for both players, particularly Opie. Modern, on the other hand, Opie has such good command of this as sniper. I don't think he's lost a competitive match on Modern yet.
18% on the first flirt is 1% off of the worst possible flirt in the game, but at least it's something. Double Agent now comes to say hi, but there's a lot of activity at bars. We've got statue visitors. We've got bookcase visitors. Now is a bad time for it, but Caley's going to take it anyways.
Gonna take it anyways, and the fake, again, to distract Caley is just gonna... It's Modern. You throw things at the wall sometimes against good snipers. Because, again, the likelihood of winning are so small. The Purloin has gone off in the meantime.
Purloin comes off! Is Opie on this? I don't think there's that much of a reaction on the Purloin. I think this is all contact lights. Now we get a highlight. Now the lights are starting to come off. I think Opie is on top of this reasonably well.
He is, but you traded too many lowlights for the Purloin, so here's what you actually did with that Purloin, if anything. You put suspicion onto someone else, and if they look like they're finishing, Opie might have to shoot. You're not going to get a mission win, I don't think. This is Civ shot or bust. And it has to be based not on mission count exactly, but it has to be Opie saying, I feel rattled, I'm not sure when that Purloin came off, I'm paranoid. So if someone just kind of looks like a spy in the waning seconds, that's going to be reason enough.
Another contact comes off. I'm not sure Caley can afford to finish missions here. I think he kind of has to lean in to getting someone else to finish, but he's giving himself options. Another flirt comes off to 86%, and we still have 2 minutes and 20 left to play. So we're not going to find the end of this swiftly.
And Opie's just not even trying to hide the fact that he's staring down Queen. Normally you put your laser elsewhere and tempt them to bug, and he's thinking, nope, maybe I just think it's you, and I'm just going to let you know, and I'm just going to stare at this ambassador, and good luck bugging. That's the idle animation, not the bug, but boy, they look alike in the first moment.
This is very true. Under 2 minutes now.
The danger is shooting someone else like General. That's how Caley would win this, I think.
I completely agree. I think in order to win this, Caley's going to have to get some help, specifically from General. He's the only other highlight at the party right now. There are, other than us, and there it is! It is!
There it is.
Caley, the first spy win of the entire match comes in extra time, and it comes off the back of an awkward purloin coming out of an awkward contact that rattled Opie just enough that he couldn't hold the shot.
There's no way the mission count was right on General. I don't think General could possibly have been done. I think it's exactly what I was saying before, which is when you don't track the purloin, when you're surprised, when it catches you off guard, you start to doubt yourself. You think, what else have I missed? And you start to overthink it a little bit. And then he's taken so many aggressive shots at the end of games. They were tough shots. We saw him faking his camera, but they were good shots. It finally bites him at almost the worst possible time. And as far as I know, that is Opie's first ever competitive modern sniper game.
And I think General may have been out for the contact too.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's really rough. You can tell. We saw this from Caley last week too. Took some really, frankly, bad banana breads. And as I mentioned earlier, when you have a bad banana bread, it makes you one of a few big suspects, but it makes the other suspects just as big. And sometimes that gets the civ shots. It's almost like you have a certain amount of suspicion, and when it's not divided among as many characters, they all have more.
This is very true. OpiWrites needs to find an answer in these next 3 venues. Starting things off on the spy side of Modern, it's going to be a statue visit to open things up. Now the pressure is on big time. It's a swap early on. Did Caley get a look at that statue before Opie showed up?
I think he has to have at least thought about it. He's definitely not expecting it, and really, are we going to finish? You're hoping to just get away with it completely. That's your only way to get away with this. And look at this. Opie's just saying, Modern, it's so hard to win anyway. I'm just going to go nuts here. I'm just going to do stuff. Why not?
Straight up green microfilm transfer at the green bookcase. Gets the animation done. We haven't seen really any reaction on the statue yet, which could either mean he's very confident or he didn't get a look at it.
Yeah, that could be it. But again, so the mission count thing is such a big deal on Modern. The fact that it's 5 instead of 4 is underrated. We saw some shots earlier where the spy was not actually that close to done. But if it's Caley, if you're worried you missed a bug, if you're worried they're about to swap or about to purloin, sometimes you just shoot anyway because they're starting to get in range of mission win. Because on a lot of these 4 mission venues, never mind the 3 mission venues, you can get into range of mission win countdown really, really early, potentially. Even if, if you're just not sure you caught something. But on Modern, on Library, on Verandah, you can be that much more confident that they're nowhere near close to winning. So even if you're on the swap, that mission count is going to feel a lot better.
That is very true. 51% on the first flirt. We have the 1 inspect. We have green microfilm in pocket. And we're idling pretty hard. It looks like we're going to try to hang out for a timer flirt. We do get it, and we hit the second green as well. That's the flirt done. We've got the statue done as well. 2 minutes and 30 seconds to play.
Banana bread.
Contact comes off as well, just as the double agent's about to step away, so that lets off a reasonable number of lowlights.
6 lowlights. It is reasonable indeed, especially relative to our mission progress. And Opie's thinking, I don't want to finish inspects. I don't want to give him that reason to shoot. It could be microfilm bug even.
It could very well be. That's not the kind of thing you usually see against KrazyCaley. It's almost impossible to get 2 hardtails off the man, but 3
you can't do the microfilm
unheard
here.
of.
You
this
can't do the microfilm
is far too exposed.
And there aren't enough suspects. No, you don't want to do this here.
It's a green test, but Caley is on top of things. He's not going to miss it twice.
Listen, we had incredible mission progress. That allows you to take that blue book out, walk around, wait for a good spot. That's what you've earned with all that mission progress. Why not use it?
Why not use it indeed? It's 11-9, the current scoreline. But we've got 2 very volatile maps coming up. It's Gallery and Balcony. It's still possible for Opie to come back here, but it's a tall task against someone as powerful as KrazyCaley.
It really is. But Gallery, maybe a better chance than Modern specifically. I think that's a little more you can get up to there. Caley, he's only won about 2/3 of his Sniper Gallery games, actually, but he's won 70% of his Spy Gallery games, so it works both ways. And again, you get balcony at the end. You want to be sweeping balcony for the win, not for the tie.
This is true.
But you've got options. Moderne was the least likely place, to get your spy win. Problem was, it was also the most likely place to get your sniper win, and that didn't work out.
And now we step in to gallery with OpiWrites in a very difficult position. He went toe-to-toe with Caley all throughout regulation, but stumbled as soon as extra time starts. Now KrazyCaley has a little bit of a buffer to work with, and he's going to put the pedal to the metal.
And there is a drink outside.
There is indeed a drink outside. Flaunting local ordinances, it does happen, but not very often.
Wait a second, that's illegal.
On the first flirt.
That's totally illegal, come on. And there's kind of not a lot happening?
Yeah. Usually, gallery games are pretty hectic, but this is a relatively slow start. KrazyCaley chasing his seduction target all the way back, but does he want to be third at blue bookcase? Looks like he absolutely does.
Chasing,
but the twin gives him a bit of room either way.
It's actually kind of suspicious anyway, though, because it looks very much like that character decided to go anyway.
The seduction target doesn't hang around, unfortunately, so we're not actually able to get that flirt off.
General not interested in the age-appropriate pairing that you so rarely see in SpyParty.
Microfilm transfer, though, just goes bookcase to bookcase with it, slams it down in green, and away we go.
Well, here's the thing. Opie has the mission count, usually pretty well. I'd say he's particularly known for it. So there's a bit of a risk here, but I'm not sure he's missed it yet.
All right, back into conversation we go. It was a little bit of an awkward entry, but it wasn't too bad. There's the second flirt. It's a green test for 81%. We could be done by now, but KrazyCaley wasn't able to get the flirt off at bookcase.
I am starting to get a little worried for Opie, though, because the more I think about it, that kind of microfilm transfer, it's not like a bug you're pretty sure took. That's the kind of thing you want to wait on. If you really do catch that microfilm, you take the shot.
Contact comes off on a really full back conversation, but the front one did not have the suspected double agent in it.
What I find really fascinating about these Caley spy wins is that they almost all take place in the mind of the sniper. It's almost never the spy moves. It's always things like, strangely bad banana bread that counterintuitively causes the sniper to overthink things. Really shows you how cerebral this game is, that very often it's the snipers beating themselves in the wake of something counterintuitive.
Last flirt has come off. We've got 3 missions done, 1 to go. What's it going to be?
Well, it's got to be tempting to go statue to statue, but I think he'd much rather have a bug here.
I think he'd much rather have a bug as well, but the ambassador is not being nice about it. It's possible he's going to try to take a purloin.
Yeah, that looks way more likely. We've requested the drink, and we're in a spot where it's going to be hard to see. Right now, can he really shoot for a green here?
He's not looking at it,
Is he even looking? He's not looking at it.
But
no purloin.
Didn't take it.
No purloin.
30 seconds. 20 seconds.
And he's going to... What's the plan here?
He's
going to readjust, and now he's going to do it.
Get a better position. Now the purloin comes off. It's a white test, though. 8 seconds.
He needs to be looking. He's not looking. He's not looking.
The list is on screen, but he's not looking.
There it is. You got to shoot right now.
There's no shot coming off. KrazyCaley. In the waning moments of the match, it looks like OpiWrites is falling apart.
That was a really rough one. Missing 2 blatant hardtails. I don't see anything about the timing of the microfilm or even the purloin that suggests that anything else was going on, that it was timed to anything. It just seemed to be doing things, and he's looking somewhere else. And that's a decent play because the sniper has a lot to look at. But I don't really understand, for example, why the microfilm worked. I sort of understand why the purloin worked. The purloin works because you somehow got the 3 missions without being a suspect.
Makes you wonder if it could just be fatigue. This has been an incredibly long match, and while Caley is Caley is hardened against that. OpiWrites not so much.
No, you're absolutely right.
I think Opie from the beginning of the match would have caught that every single time, but the bug comes off, might be able to get one back, and even though he has to win all three here, somehow he got low lit at the beginning of this match, the bug has come off, this is still doable.
That is absolutely huge, and yes, he needs to win all three just to force overtime. On Balcony, that doesn't sound that hard to do. Gallery is the tough one, but we might have just been given the biggest gift right the moment we need it.
Early bug, early low light, early fingerprint. This is a huge start for Opie. This could be the latest comeback.
Yeah, it absolutely could. And, we're bumped back up finally. The question is, what do we get away with in the interim? Are we still being credited? Was that just housekeeping after the Amba maybe wasn't as vulnerable? That's what you got to worry about. But if the bug was free, is he really going to shoot at the end? This is where his lead is very significant, actually, now. Because now he might be more willing to take a shot he's not sure of at the end of the game for, say, 2 statue visits without being sure of the bug. Whereas if this were tied again, would he really be able to take that shot?
Contact comes off. There are, I think, 8 lowlights on the table right now. 25% on the flirt, and 1 fingerprint.
How much did we get away with? Did we sneak by while we were low lit? That is the question of the cup right now.
If KrazyCaley is still on top of things well enough to find Opie here, that's it. The cup is won, the match is over. But if he missed too much, that could be all Opie needs. 59% is where the flirt sits right now. Minute and 45 still to play.
The big risk for Opie is that this is so narrowed down that you're going to be able to have a good sense of just who looks like a spy finishing. That's going to be all it is.
Here's where my head's at. KrazyCaley is willing to shoot
second print.
on the assumption that the bug got by him. But he's very confident in his print counts.
Yep.
Did he miss that first print while we were low lit?
But he can credit anyway.
The second print is done.
Yep, the second print is done, and we're in the mission to win countdown. I don't see any
the flirt done. I don't think Caley is going to take this.
I think we did it. I think we somehow kept it alive.
Ladies and gentlemen, it looked over. But OpiWrites has found a way to claw one back from KrazyCaley at the last possible second. And now we go to balcony. 2 games separate OpiWrites from tying this match back up. Caley only needs 1, but can he get it on balcony?
And look at this. They're setting up that game, and you know Caley is looking at that replay and saying, what the hell just happened?
Drac, I don't think we could have asked for a better finals than this. This is insane.
Well, it might get a little crazier. Don't look just yet. Don't exhale just yet. It's not over. We're on to balcony, and boy, how much does that previous sniper game on gallery now hurt for Opie? Think of the position he'd been in. He would get it right back. He'd be tied heading into balcony. And God, if he'd held on modern, he'd be sniping or spying for the win. I think you're right, though, what you said earlier about fatigue. It's underrated. This is a long match. It's been a long tournament. And it's someone who has, a modest amount of high-level competitive experience, but it is something you get used to. The more you play, the less nervous you get. And if you're less nervous, you're less stressed, and fatigue is less of an issue for sure. But it's got to be preying on both players right now.
KrazyCaley has a very, very focus-intensive play style, and it has taken him a lot of work to get the stamina in SpyParty to where it is. You can tell this because of the Millennium streams. He has played an absolutely absurd amount of SpyParty, but OpiWrites doesn't necessarily have that same kind of stamina. It's time now to head in to balcony. The last 2 games of extra time. If OpiWrites can find a way to win both of these, we go into sudden death balcony.
Okay. Let's keep an eye on this mission setup. Let's see if Caley brings back an old school move he used to do on old balcony games, even all back to old art, and leaving fingerprint on. Yup, fingerprint is on, bug is off. Does Opie notice? My guess is Caley might have actually told him. Sometimes in competition, the players will tell each other, not wanting to win otherwise.
Absolutely, but it is another thing for the sniper to need to keep track of.
Yes. Here's the Caley move usually, is to get the one print and never get the second. That used to be very common in the old days when he would leave this mission setup on.
42% off of the first flirt at a distance from the seduction target. That's a solid start. The contact comes off, lets off a single low light, but it's done early.
Pretty significant. The 42% is kind of a big deal too because it means it locks Caley into 3 flirt range, which means a lot of the kind of like infuriating games where the spy wins very easily and the sniper just can't take that low percentage shot, that's going to be ruled out at least. That's going to help a lot.
Already 3 lowlights though, which means 3 suspects left available. Caley going for the window flirt, it looks like. Is he going to get this off? He does. It's 76%. 1 minute to play.
He loves the window flirts for sure.
Seek is going for briefcase here.
That's 1 print. And if Caley is smart, and we know he is, he's probably going to want to delay this flirt at least a little bit to see if Seek goes for another print, because that would maybe just be an insta-shot. No! Loves the bump from Seek. Gets bumped back down. Caley takes it too, though. He bumps Seek back up. These are very fluid. Anything could happen, but it really feels like Caley might be about to win this game and this tournament. Where am I sending the trophy?
One talk is all it takes. There it is.
Can he do it?
Mission win countdown.
Nope.
Opie takes the wrong shot, and KrazyCaley, at the end of extra time, is your SpyParty Summer Cup champion.
Somebody stop this man. Caley wins the Summer Cup in the biggest, most competitive field it's ever had. Go ahead and DM me that address, buddy. You earned it.
The longest running competitive event SpyParty has ever had. The only man to ever win it this time comes with the honor of $100 of prize, a copy of Tabletop Simulator, and an actual honest-to-God trophy. OpiWrites walks away with 75 and the game for himself as well. Oh my god, what a tournament this has been.
My heart breaks a little bit because I really want to send them both trophies. It was such a good match, and I said during the opening ceremonies that we were going to send out a trophy because whoever was going to win this year in particular was going to really have to earn it. And both players earned these finals in particular. Caley obviously earned this victory big time. Those big spy wins down the stretch. The crazy, crazy sniper party till the very end. And yes, I think maybe the fatigue just a little bit. The counterintuitive, the bad BB that makes the sniper paranoid. You do that stuff long enough, and it only takes once when your sniper is that good. And then, Opie, my God, the gallery win to keep it alive. Those are the things I'm going to remember most in a tournament absolutely full of incredible memories.
Absolutely. This has been stunning. But we're not quite done yet. Join us tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, the same time you came for the bronze match for the closing ceremonies, where we are going to hand out the prizes. You're going to finally get to figure out what these mystery prizes are that we've all been talking about. We're going to get to see some of the best moments from this tournament, and it's going to be glorious.
I think if there's a highlight video, it's going to be pretty long because
so.
There were a lot of best moments. And yeah, those mystery prizes, let me remind everyone who competed, because there's 64 of you out there, 63 other than me at least. You might have already won a prize and you don't know it because the criteria for some of these prizes is secret. So maybe it'll be whoever did the most time adds, maybe the best sniper shot in the waning seconds. Who knows? I don't know. Only a few people in the world know. So you might have already won, Publishers Clearinghouse style, showing my age. So you're definitely going to tune in for that closing ceremony to find out whether you've won a prize already, and certainly to see the highlights of what has been itself a highlight among competitive events.
I feel honored to have witnessed that match, much less been able to cast it. This has been a fantastic night of SpyParty. We're going to call it there. You can buy this game at spyparty.com or on Steam for $25. If you're interested in the competitive side of this, just hop on over to the Discord. There's always stuff going on. Thank you so much for everyone who came out to watch. Have a great evening.